Hi there, this is Tim, and this is the very first video I'm recording for my YouTube channel. Now, you're probably looking around and going, where in the hell is this guy? Well, I'll explain that in a minute. Most of my videos will be me actually playing, but I thought I should probably do something as an introductory type of video to kind of get things started. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Tim Rowe, and I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and it's raining outside right now, big storm, so if you can hear that, I apologize. Moved to Indianapolis when I was 3. I've been playing drums since I was about 12, and I'm currently 47 years old. I'm going to be 48 in August. So I've been playing most of my life. There's been a couple periods of my life where I stopped playing for a little bit, but currently I'm playing with a band called Toro. In fact, you can kind of see on the drum head, we've got the logo on the current set of drums I have here. Been playing with them for about 18 months, and I've played with dozens of bands over the years. Had proper training when I was in high school, like I said, from about the age of 12 till about the age of about 17, so about 4 or 5 years of training, studying with Richard Paul at the Paul Mueller studio here in Indianapolis. And I'm currently going back to school at Butler University. Started this summer with grad school studying with John Crabiel. So that's kind of part of the motivation for doing this. I thought, I'm really jumping back into my playing in probably the most serious fashion I've done yet. And so I decided I'm going to start, even though it may not be the best quality in the beginning, I'm going to start recording what I'm doing. And sort of chronicling my drumming path so that maybe I can kind of look back and see my improvement. I wouldn't say I'm a terrible drummer by any stretch of the imagination, but I definitely have a lot of growth and a lot of areas I can work on. So what I'm hoping to do through this channel and through kind of getting serious about all this is learn more, maybe help others learn more, get more connected with people and opportunities, and just kind of see where it goes. So that's kind of a brief history. One of the premises that I've decided to follow with all this is don't get too serious about the video production and every detail being just right, because the problem is it will never happen if I do that. So that kind of gets me to the part about where I'm at. So I currently live near Broad Ripple in Indianapolis, and I live in a duplex, and I haven't, until recently, played my drums here. I'm not really supposed to be doing this, but luckily our neighbors are very cool, and they're letting me do this. Most of the time I play, I'm playing over at a rehearsal space that we have for the band, or I'm able to go and play in one of the practice rooms on campus. That's another part of my life. I've actually worked at Butler University for 10.5 years. I'm a project manager there in IT. So for a long time I've been kind of keeping all of these different elements and personas and aspects of my life separate, but I've decided that it's probably time to just sort of mash it together. Yes, I do different things, and I have a day job, but my first love, my first passion is playing drums. And so I want to really kind of make this take off and do something. So I've got this semi-new Samsung Galaxy Note 4 phone that I got around the holidays about 6 months ago, and it takes great video. So I got this little adapter for my tripod, and so I'm just kind of starting with that. I'm down in this basement by the graces of my neighbors allowing me to actually play down here. They've been very cool about it. So I'll be able to start recording down here. It's not the best space. I do hope to move before the end of the year. So hopefully I'll have a better space. The video won't look like I'm, recording in some sort of, bomb shelter or something somewhere in the future. But for now, this is what I have to do. So I figured, you know what? It's my humble beginnings, and maybe things will get better. I do have some experience and actually a degree in video production and audio production. So it's not that I don't know what to do to make things look better. It's that I've chosen to just get started somewhere, and that hopefully each time I do this, it'll get a little bit better. So with that said, let's see. I started in high school, playing in bands and choirs and that sort of thing. Went to North Central High School, played in the jazz band a little bit, but mostly like regular band and the counterpoint singing group. And then I had a group on the side with some great guys doing cover tunes, a band called Room with a View. And those of you who know me from North Central probably remember that pretty well. It's kind of funny because when I met John Crabiel for the first time recently to get started back on my grad degree, it turns out he knew who I was back then. I just didn't know him. So it's kind of funny how worlds collide and things intertwine sometimes. Anyway, so I had been studying all through high school with Richard Paul and was supposed to go to Ball State Music School where he was teaching and follow that path. And at the last minute, I decided that it wasn't going to work out. So I went to Purdue University to pursue electrical engineering instead. And that did not work out at all. By the second semester, I was completely over my head, moved back home here to Indianapolis, took a semester off, and then went to IUPUI, and eventually got a degree in telecommunications from IU. And meanwhile, frustrated that my music was not really, I didn't really pursue that. So I played with various bands over the years. Back in that time frame in the late 80s when I came back from college, I put some notices up around Broderpool. One thing led to another with some phone calls, and next thing I knew, I was playing in the Deterra Seats with Paul Mahern from Zero Boys fame. So that was pretty cool. Got to know Johnny Quest a little bit and play with those two and Lee Cuthbert for about a year before we had a falling out. And then I moved on and eventually joined a band called Odd Man. It was a project I put together with Greg Lusticow and Tony Velasic, and we actually did a record. And then after that, we put together like a cover band with some guys who had been in Dog Talk, and that project was called Hot Java. That eventually fell apart, and I was going through various stages of life and sort of stopped playing for a little bit. And then eventually met a guy, Drew White, who was in a band, and went and sort of auditioned with them. And next thing I knew, I was in this band that eventually was called Head First, and we were together for about 10 years. We broke up eventually about 3 years ago. Various members of the band going from 4-piece to 5-piece to 6-piece and whittling on down to a trio at the end, and then that eventually fell apart. We did do some original tunes, but we never really did anything with them. We got them recorded, but that was about it. So that being said, mostly just for the fact of letting you know that I have played in and out of all kinds of bands throughout my life. When I was jazz trained. So Richard Paul was a jazz player, and much of the stuff that we did was stick control, traditional grip, and a lot of jazz standards and things. But of course, at the time, I'm 12 or 13 years old, and I wasn't necessarily all that interested in that. So I wanted to do a lot of rock stuff. So I would come unprepared a lot of times to practice or to my sessions with him. I got good, just probably not good at the things that I probably should have. So as time went on, I realized, you know what, I need to go back, and I really need to take the time to almost kind of rebuild and re-architect my playing from the ground up. So that's kind of what my current endeavor is all about. Just got to work it in with my work schedule. You still have to be admitted, so I have to go through that process and be admitted. So after some conversations and exploration, it was determined that, okay, well, even though your undergraduate degree isn't in music, you can go ahead and get a graduate degree in music, and I'm going to basically just kind of focus on performance with the idea that try to get really good at this thing here. Probably do some melodic stuff, maybe some mallets again, but for the most part, I'm really trying to get really good at my chops on the drum kit. So that's it in a nutshell, I guess. So the videos that I'm going to probably be putting up in the beginning will be me not necessarily doing some of the boring practice stuff that I've got to do and the repetitive nature of that. But what I've done is recorded some things with me playing sort of how I play now, like the things that come naturally to me now and the patterns that I like to play. And you'll see some things where it's, starting out with basic patterns, and then I'm just kind of like experimenting and playing around with that. With the idea of two things hoping to come from that. One, maybe you as a younger or more beginning drummer may watch this and get some ideas about some ways to push your playing where you are. It's also for me to look back and see where I am with my playing, so that I can hopefully track some progress. So things are going to be a little imperfect. I'm not going to get too hung up about making things polished, like I said. In fact, as I was recording, I got interrupted, so that's why I had to stop and cut it together. So it's going to be like that, but I figured I need to just get started and do this. Part of this is to kind of like, I guess, create some accountability. And I don't know, if I have to kind of keep putting this out there, keep me honest and hopefully focused and dedicated to what I'm doing, so that, when I realize, wow, I haven't put any content out for a week or two, I probably need to get busy again. So that's the idea. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's definitely going to be raw, at least for now. The audio quality probably won't be all that great either. I do have a Zoom, H1 Zoom, that would probably make some of the audio recording a lot easier. What I'm trying to avoid, though, is doing a lot of, having to export my video and doing a lot of desktop editing and merging of audio and video. I just kind of want to get started. So hopefully I'll learn some tips and some tricks and things as I go. I was looking at, options today for just editing video right on my phone. There's not a lot of good ones, so I'll probably still ingest into my desktop for at least for the beginning, and then hopefully get better when I record it, just making it, starting it, stopping it, and having that be the final clip. So I won't have any sophisticated way of talking while I'm recording or anything like that, or doing multiple angles, at least not now. Again, I'm not trying to make a Hollywood production here. I'm just trying to kind of get something started. So hopefully you find it of value, and we can start to get to know one another, and I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you are too. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.